Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Success Academy. I'm Shashan Dias, and in this video we are going to be doing the second rendition of the Success Academy podcast, or the Success Podcast. I think that's what we decided to call it, yes?
Yeah, the Success Podcast.
The Success Podcast. Alright, so in this video again we are going to take an IELTS essay topic and then discuss what are the points that you can talk about for each paragraph of the essay. So we'll be looking at both sides of the argument as opposed to just one, but we'll also be discussing, okay, if you're selecting one side of the argument, how you can elaborate on that. If you select the other side of the argument, how you can elaborate on that. So the topic for today, or before the topic, again, this is Hasib Hassan.
Hi.
Hasib, say hi.
Hi, how's it going? Come again. I'm tired this time.
He is dry this time. Yeah, it's not raining, it's sunny. It's a nice day to be doing this.
Yeah.
Unlike last time.
Touch wood.
Touch wood. Alright. So the topic for today is?
Some children spend hours every day on their smartphones. Why is this the case? Do you think this is a positive or a negative development?
Alright. Some students spend hours a day on their smartphone. Is this a positive or negative development? Now, what's tricky here is they haven't said what they spend time on. Is it social media? Is it videos or what? It's just children spend time on their smartphones. That's the topic. That's interesting.
Okay.
Isn't it?
That's
so we can talk about a number of things that children use their smartphones for. Now, first let's look at, now when you take this type of essay, you can only talk about one point. Either it's a positive thing or it's a negative thing.
Yeah.
Alright, because they're asking, is it a positive or negative development? So, let's start off maybe with the positives, yes? Alright. Why would it be a positive thing that...
But before that, would you like to clarify, like, what can be used, like what potentially is being used by children on a smartphone? Like what? Like social media, gaming, what else?
Yeah, social media, gaming, they would watch films, watch YouTube.
Access to the internet.
Access to the internet. They could use it for things like education, to search up new information, things like that.
Calculator app and all that.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think we can talk more about what they use it for in detail once we get into whether it's positive or negative.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, why do you think it's a positive thing that children would be on their phones for long periods of time?
Okay, so do we have to give weight to the long periods thing?
Yes, of course. So when you take an essay like this, you have to pay attention to everything they have said. So if they say a long period of time, then we need to dive into that and explain why they spend a long period of time on their phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say because kids these days, positively, in a positive sense, kids these days are more in touch with the world and what's happening around the world, and more in touch with their friends and family, that most of their socializing time is spent through the phone because it's easy to access and it's more convenient for them to just talk to and keep in touch. And especially like, you know, when you have hard times like COVID, for example, smartphones like, you know, help them to, you know, keep their sanity and stay in touch with like everyone.
So mainly to keep in touch with their friends and family.
Yeah, one aspect of it is the connectivity of the phone.
Okay. How long is a long time? That's the question.
How long is a long time? I mean, it depends. Like, you know, like if you're like, everyone's different. Not everyone's like an extroverted person who can like play and like who are good. Some people are good with spending alone time. Some people are like good at like going out and playing. Some people are just, you know, better off just like being behind the screen and talking to them. And you could argue that that has its benefits and negatives. However, like in terms of the overall impact of it, I feel like is positive because they are at the end of the day being connected to their friends and family and socializing. And you know how kids these days are, they share memes, like they know everything that we don't know. Like, okay, question, where do you get your news from mostly?
I mean, for me, I read the news, so I get
Okay, I get my news from like people sharing stuff on Instagram stories.
Yeah, true enough.
That's one of the biggest way you get to know like the latest stuff, and kids these days know that.
That's true. I agree. I was just joking.
Yeah.
But yeah, of course.
You read the
a lot
news,
of-
bro, like paper.
No, in the sense that I read news on.
Yeah.
on
You don't work
radio.
there anymore, right?
I do.
What?
It's one of the
Okay.
it's one of the many things I do.
Okay. Okay.
But no, but of course, outside of that, yes, of course, I would be on Instagram. Mainly Instagram. I don't really use any other major social media platform. But yeah, a lot of the information I get would be from someone sharing it on.
Yeah, especially
their
like
stories.
let's say like the meme stuff, like I don't know, like Drake and Kendrick going at each other.
Oh man, that stuff I'm totally out of date with. Like anything pop culture is
Yeah, exactly.
lost
Any
on.
sort of exactly. Which is why they call us boomers. Like, I mean, they don't call me; they call you boomers.
They don't call us boomers, bro. Boomers is a completely different age
No,
group.
boomers are basically people who aren't in touch with stuff.
Yeah, but boomers is an age category. I think it's
Theoretically
19.
speaking, it's an age category, but like you can
Yeah, I'm
act
not
like a
in touch.
boomer, like if you
I
just
can act like a boomer, of course.
yeah.
Man, I'm so out of touch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess a lot of children do spend their time. I mean, even in school now, you know, back then we used to go and we used to play and interact with our friends.
Not
and
me.
Then even if
I was bullied in school.
ouch.
No. I had my friend group,
Yeah.
but like even then, like I would play with my friends in school, but when I'm at home, like it's mostly gaming and stuff.
Okay, so yeah,
but for you, it
it's
can be different. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I mean, it was more of I would play with my friends. I mean, we'd go to their houses, we'd do extracurriculars, sports, and then the need. I mean, I got a phone for the first time after I finished my O levels, and even that was like a button phone. So there was really nothing much I could do with it, and
Same.
not a lot of time to really spend on it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, even my
nowadays I feel-
first smartphone was also after O levels. After
Yeah.
I got good results.
Yeah. So to keep in touch, I believe I wouldn't relate to it from the time I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, now I think we keep in touch with almost everybody on the phone.
Yeah.
We stay in touch, we are connected, even with our friends who have gone abroad.
Yeah.
We're able to
exactly. Yeah.
immediately drop them a text or call or be in touch
Yeah.
with them because we have our phones. And I think even for kids, they are more inclined to be in touch with their friends over the phone. They're not more into I see that generational gap when my brother's friends come over. They are more inclined to sit around and text people and be connected digitally as opposed to connect physically.
Yeah. Also, these days, like let's say in terms of parenting in the modern age, there's so many like security cameras that get synced into your phone that when you have a case of like two parents that work at the same time, they leave their kids with like a nanny, and then the kids can be in touch with their parents whenever they want through the smartphone.
Through the smartphone, yeah.
And the parents can actually have a look at what's happening in their own house.
Yeah, makes sense. So I suppose connectivity is probably the number one positive thing
Yeah.
that children spend time on their phones for.
Yeah.
Yeah? All right.
Yeah.
What would be a second thing? Is your mic switched on, by the way? Just tap the...
Alright.
All right. So speaking about a second positive, what would be a second positive that... or a positive reason that students or children would be spending time on their phones for?
I would say access to information.
Definitely. Yeah, everything is being sent on their phones these days. Homework. You have to
Homework.
Google information. All your studies. Bro, you won't believe when I was studying for A-levels, right? I didn't really understand econ.
Okay.
So one of the things that I did was I went on YouTube and I found this channel called ACDC.
Yes,
bro.
That guy is a legend.
He taught so well, man. Like
Yeah.
I just watched his entire video series.
Yeah.
Even on the day of A-levels, like the paper, I was just watching his revision lesson.
Yeah.
And that's how I got through.
Yeah. What did you get for econ?
I got an A.
I got a B.
Nice.
Yeah. And I didn't study econ at all, making excuses, but yeah. But he was really good.
He was really good.
Yeah.
He was really interesting in the way he taught. And so,
Yeah.
again, I feel like that's a huge reason why I spend time on my phone. I'd be joking if I said that, but I spent it for a lot of other things.
Yeah.
But that was a good reason why I spent time on my phone at the time.
Yeah.
Because I used to watch hours and hours of this guy's videos to understand the theories, to be able to do the past papers. And I got a very comprehensive understanding of economics because of this guy's channel. And so for education, then you're completely right. To find information, to improve our knowledge, for education purposes, spending time on your phone is a positive
Also,
thing.
kids are just these days like a lot more, like they've got a lot more common sense. You don't feel that?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I feel like, okay, common sense might be the wrong word, but I feel like they're just a bit more street smarter. Like they know what's happening around the world, and like they know what's alright to do and what's not alright to do, because they see all these failed compilations on like TikTok and stuff, and they're like, okay, I shouldn't behave like that when I'm here.
That is a tricky premise, man. That,
I don't know.
that
I
okay,
feel
first
like
of all,
I feel like you can learn a lot. Like, okay, for example, when you and I was on social media,
okay.
right? We would like learn how the world works, like for example, like a gym video. Like we would see like people just yelling at the gym and being like, okay, that's inappropriate behavior, versus being like dudes being like, okay, there's an appropriate way of doing it, and then you learn that and then you conduct yourself accordingly.
I don't think you needed social media for that, bro. Like,
Yeah, but there are certain things social media teach that parents just don't teach, especially Sri Lankans.
like what?
Sex.
No.
Education, like education.
That's a tricky. I of course really disagree with that. Simply because I feel that it's just been overexposed on social
I'm not
media.
talking about like pornography. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking
Yeah,
about,
no, I know what you're saying. There's like a lot
like
of
for
sex
example,
education.
if a girl is like, I have problems in my period, like I'm feeling this way, they go to a channel and then they can
Yeah, but why would
see
you go? This is a completely different topic. I don't think
Yeah,
we should get into it
Yeah.
here. This is. I feel like it's irrelevant here to
Yeah,
this particular
fair
topic
enough.
that we are having. So more towards now. See, if you are writing the essay, I feel like what they can write as a point here would be that they can improve their school education.
Yeah, don't go deep into like your thoughts.
Yeah.
Just be.
We can discuss that at a
Yeah.
different, if you're discussing a different
Yeah,
topic,
yeah.
but I feel like for this particular topic, you don't have to dive that deep into it. You can just stick to, okay, school education, you can improve it by spending time on your phone. You can go on Google, you can go on social media platforms. Hey, you can even reach out to people who are more knowledgeable than you and get more information from them.
Yeah.
That's
That's a thing. Yeah.
because I don't know about whether kids do this, but I know like a couple of my friends who, for example, like you said, if they want to learn about digital marketing, they can reach out to someone who knows digital marketing and then try to learn from that person.
Yeah.
And this is something that Alex Hormozy and all of these popular influencers put out there, right? Just say that you'll work for free.
Yeah.
And don't even ask them, can I work for free? Just do the work and send it across. Keep doing it 100, 200 times. And most of these guys, by the time they leave school, they've already landed like a full-time, high-paying job. Simply because of that dedication. Do you get what I mean?
Got it. Yeah.
So, in terms of that, and also, like we discussed earlier, improving your school education by searching for information,
Yeah. And also like, other auxiliary stuff like improving your own language, vocabulary,
Yeah.
learning about other cultures, like minor stuff like that also like
Yeah,
add
man.
to it.
Yeah, and also like since we do public speaking training and spoken English training, one of the things that we always say is go and immerse yourself in the language. Go and listen to podcasts. Go and find out new information to read up on. Because the more information you have, the more knowledge you have, the easier it is to talk in a particular language.
Knowledge is power.
Knowledge is power. And of
Coming
course,
on our t-shirt next time.
yeah,
You should sell
of
it.
course, I should sell it.
Knowledge is power. TSA.
All right. So those are the two positives, yeah. One was being connected, and the second one was being able to gain information and knowledge. Do you want to discuss a third one, or should we move on to the negatives?
Yeah, I think those two main points, and then the minor mentions of the other points like improve in vocabulary and all of that stuff
Yeah.
should like suffice for an answer, right, teacher?
Yeah. Yes, of course.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
No problem, no problem. All right. So then we move on to the negatives. Negatives, there are a lot. So I suppose if you were writing this answer, would you go with positives or negatives?
I would say it's an overall positive.
It's an overall positive, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like because of the fact that even like the world is shifting more towards technology, and even the jobs these days are all through technology. Being on your smartphone just helps you evolve into that job. Yeah, you can judge yourself based on like a previous generation and be like, yo, these kids are like nuts, and like they have problems that we didn't have.
Yeah.
Which is fine. And I'm not saying it's perfect, and like I wouldn't say like there aren't issues that have to be addressed and need parental control. However, overall per se, I say it's a positive thing. But then there are negatives also I'd like to talk about.
Okay. What is one negative that you would like to emphasize?
Mental health.
Mental health.
Yeah, a lot of kids
That's
feel
true.
depressed and
Depressed,
suicidal.
anxious, suicidal, yeah.
Yeah.
Because whatever dark path you want to go on, there's a
always
community.
for you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a community there for you, man.
I think mainly mental health issues like depression and anxiety stems from the fact that children spend so much time on social media platforms. It's not even necessarily the content they consume. Like they could be consuming overall positive content.
But it's comparison, right?
Yeah.
Even through positive content, if they see that this person's producing something positive, but this person's living like a really happy life, they start comparing themselves, and they're like, okay, why can't I be like that?
Yeah,
And
you
that's
you
when the
become
whole- yeah.
so less grateful for what
Oh,
you
yeah.
already have.
Yeah.
Because you see these people who have everything. They
Yeah.
have good families, money, everything, but they're depressed.
Exactly. And kids especially aren't like mature enough to understand that sometimes what you're seeing is not necessarily reality. It's put on for the cameras.
Yeah.
Like sure, they might be earning money, they might be successful, but don't assume that their life is perfect. Like they don't have the same problems that you don't have.
And
Wait, does that make sense? They don't have the same problems that you don't have.
they don't have the same problems that you don't have. That
Doesn't make sense, right?
yeah, no.
They don't have the same problems that
They don't have the same problems you have, and
Yeah.
you don't have the same problems they have.
Yeah.
The problems that each person has is very different.
Yeah.
And because of that comparison, we see that children's mental health is dramatically deteriorating.
Yeah.
Because I do motivational speeches, right, at different
Yeah.
schools, and especially when I go to, I don't know whether this is because of a result of the culture that has changed now, or whether it's because the fact that children spend a lot of time on social media. But when I ask them, how many of you feel really happy with your life or really happy with yourself, raise your hand. Most of them don't raise their hand. There might be that one really cocky sportsman guy that will go, yes, I'm very happy, I'm the rugger captain, you know.
Yeah.
That guy is always there, you know, you have like 10, 15 of them.
Yeah.
But if you take a
He
class
clearly
of
hasn't been tackled in his life properly.
no man, even if you are tackled, right, even if you have gone through all of that,
Yeah.
a sportsman I don't think would feel, I don't know. I could-
Yeah, no, fair
Oh.
enough. Fair enough.
But you remember we had a kid once, I think 4-5 years ago, who was like it was in a school that we trained drama for. And he was this really smart, fun-loving,
Fair kid.
fair kid.
This is at.
Yes, don't say the name.
Okay.
But you remember?
I
you remember that.
Yeah.
So he was a really smart, funny,
Yeah.
outgoing. He was like the it boy.
He was like very. That boy was open-minded and was willing to try things out.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about socializing in person.
No, but my point was he later on he got depressed over something, right? Are we talking about the same guy?
Yeah, girlfriend issues.
Nothing to do with the.
And I'm just a drama teacher, bro. I don't know. I'd be like, yeah, man, sucks to be you.
No, so.
No, that's a lie. I was actually there for him, but like, yeah, he went through some issues. Girls. That's not the
How
question.
old was he? Like 14 or 15
Exactly,
years old, man.
exactly.
And at what, 14, 15 years old, without the influence of social media, without the influence of our mobile phones,
Yeah.
I don't think we would have gone through anything like that. At 14, 15, we didn't even have proper feelings, bro. We were so immature.
Yeah. I had stories of dudes like just following women, in, like girls, in, like the bus and stuff after class.
At that age?
I think Sakti Sigma gihin. They
Damn.
would like just like machang, like we just follow her.
I thought that was the impact of just how the culture and technology changed.
Okay, we're sidetracking, but yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, in terms of again mental health, like I was saying earlier, when you go to a school class and you do a speech like this and you ask them, okay, who's really happy with your life? Not many of them raise their hand. And a big reason for that, and these are not even kids that are poor, these are not kids that are financially down, right? The reason for most of them is that they are comparing their lives with other people.
Yeah, true.
They feel like because they don't have the right relationship, they have reason to be sad. A lot of them don't have friends, like real genuine connections, which is strange because one of the positives we spoke about was the fact that they can connect with other people. And most of these kids don't have meaningful friendships.
Yeah. I feel that comes. I have this thing where I feel like that comes down to like a. You know, these kids these days, man, they talk about like, oh, an NPC is affecting me, or like, oh, there's an NPC in my life, or whatever. Everyone has main character syndrome. You know what I'm saying? They think that they're the main character in their life, which I mean, technically you are, but like they live life as if like
They are it.
they are it.
Yeah.
And like the thought of friendship is like you are owed it. Like, yeah, he needs to be my friend because I'm the main character. It's never a like, Machang, how are you? Like, okay, like give or take, like none of that.
It's strange, isn't it? I mean, a lot of the kids that I teach, when I ask them, okay, how many friends do you have and whatnot, some of the best ones would have like 2 really good friends.
Yeah.
Most have 0. And that's shocking because now more than ever you have the opportunity to connect with so many people. But clearly it's not helping you form meaningful connections.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason to affect a person's mental health, not having deep, meaningful connections with other people.
True. Especially on social media because it's normally a short form thing. You don't like no matter like it can never be the same as like meeting in person and like interacting and like getting to know the person properly.
Yeah.
It's always behind the screen.
Yeah, and when you talk about mental health as well, it leads to things like suicide.
Yeah, that's sad, man.
That's sad. And you see a lot of kids, they spend a lot of time on their phone, they browse through all these depressing content, they browse through all these, they're talking with people in the same communities and talking about being depressed, being sad, and eventually that leads to suicide. In Sri Lanka itself, I personally know someone who was in my class back in school that committed suicide because of a relationship. Yeah. And
that sucks.
Yeah. So that is, I believe, a direct result of spending time on social media. Spending time on your phone rather.
Yeah.
Not just social media, because gaming, and watching movies. See, even in the movies, the messages that are put across are very similar. You know, if your boy leaves you or your girl leaves you, what do they portray on film? You go nuts.
You go nuts. You're sad.
You're sad. You're depressed. You don't do anything.
You try to get revenge.
Yeah,
That's another one.
so bad, man.
Yeah.
No movie really shows you that, okay, overcome that and move on. You don't forget about it.
Yeah. Especially these days. Euphoria? Dude, have you watched that freaking show?
No.
It's a show about teenagers going nuts, man. It's a show about high schoolers. So I'm assuming high schoolers mean in the Western world it's about 16 to 18, right?
Yeah.
And it's about high schoolers taking drugs, high schoolers hooking up with other dudes, and like high schoolers just like being all like it's the worst things that you can imagine in a high school. And I'm just there watching this show and thinking like, who is this for? Like who is this for? Like clearly this is an 18 plus show.
Yeah.
Like this is not a show that's meant for like teenagers.
But teenagers are watching it, right?
Yeah,
Because it's on Netflix.
But legally, like they're like it's 18 plus, right? So if you watch it, it's on you, right?
Yeah, that's
But
crazy.
like I'm also like no freaking 30-year-old is watching this or 24-year-old is watching this because it's high school drama stuff, and it's crazy the things that it's crazy, man. That show is just nuts. And also like my other
Dude,
question
did you
is
watch Barbie?
yeah.
Did you like it? It became like one of the highest paid movies or something,
It
right?
was the highest grossing movie. But Barbie's fantasy.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
but see, the message that is portrayed is terrible.
Yeah. Dudes suck.
And dudes were so wimpy.
Yeah.
You know, like crying all the time and
Bro, Ken just wanted her attention.
yeah.
And she didn't give him any attention.
Yeah.
And then the lesson of the movie is what? Like
I didn't watch it till the I
he
couldn't
took over
I
Barbie World.
literally couldn't watch it till the end, bro.
He took over Barbie World. He
Yeah.
made it into a patriarchy because
Yeah.
he went to the States and realized, oh shit, Ben run this world? Damn, I'm going to turn that into the thing.
Yeah.
So he comes to Barbie World, changes it into a patriarchy, and then Barbie comes and gets all upset because like, y'all are doing the same thing that we did to you. That's not fair. And then Barbie goes like, at some point she opens his heart and then Ken is like asking, still simping for her, and she's like, yeah, but we're still friends. Stop this, Ken. And then Ken's like, okay, I'll stop.
Oh, God.
And then they take over. And you know the best part?
No, I don't.
Oh, here's the best part, okay? So the dudes are like, okay, but can we be represented in your Barbie world? In your, like, because they form like a senate
Yeah.
with all the girls, with all the Barbies there. And then some dude asks, can we also be represented in? And then one of the girls go, no, you have to earn it.
Oh, man. I couldn't watch it, bro. I couldn't watch it till the end. I was in the cinema and I just got up and left. I was with my girlfriend at the time. Thank God she also got up and left. I'm like, yes.
I had a girlfriend who was like, if I got up and left, bro, that would have been an argument. I was like,
Oh,
it's not worth
fortunately
it.
for me,
It's not worth it. I'm just gonna watch. And it was entertaining. Like they were idiots at the end of the day. Ryan Gosling was pretty good as an actor.
no,
was funny.
I lost so much respect for Ryan Gosling from that movie. It was disgusting. All right, I feel like we got sidetracked again.
Yeah.
But again, see, this adds on to why children have mental health issues these days. What is their identity as a guy, man?
Yeah.
Be a wimp and cry about everything?
Actually, this is like interesting that you said that because you have a lot of people who come up on social media, like people like Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
people who are like these manosphere dudes, who their viewership is also kids who watch them through social media, impressionable kids. And the whole idea is these people are dangerous online, which there is an argument to be made there. I understand that. But also, let's also acknowledge the fact that there are kids these days who feel like they don't know their role as like they feel like guilty for being a man. And they feel lost and they feel like it's unfair that this is how they are portrayed, and like it's like, yo, I was just born just like any of y'all. What are y'all talking about? Like, what is this male privilege? I am just living my life.
Yeah.
He doesn't get it.
Yeah.
And then he flocks towards like these people, and that can turn dangerous because they're impressionable, and then this guy is just like talking about the things that they want to agree with.
Yeah.
And then if he says something negative, that kid's just going to soak it all up and think that that's the way life goes.
That's true. That's true. All right. So the overarching point here was that by spending a lot of time on their phone, by watching movies with bad messages,
Yeah.
we didn't really talk about video games, so we'll leave that for maybe the next point.
Yeah.
But being on social media and watching movies can really lead to negative mental health impacts, for sure. Yeah. Second point would be spending time on gaming. It's a negative effect because, again, bro, look at the amount of school shootings happening in the States right now.
You can't say that's because of gaming, dude. Shut up. That's not why.
Bro,
It's not because
people
of
are just
gaming.
going like, oh, let me shoot a school today. Like, go boom.
No. No, that's not because of gaming. I completely
I played Fortnite and I shot everybody. Now let me go and do it in real life.
GTA. Panzer.
Bro, I'm telling you, people go nuts playing video games.
People do.
And people are crazy about the game. Like, they spend hours and hours and hours. Like, I've heard parents tell me of my own students that they lock themselves in a room and play video games for 6 hours at a stretch, right? And because of that, now they are more aggressive. They don't listen to their parents when the parents try to take the... Bro, I saw this post on Instagram. One kid had been playing video games for a really long time, like 4-5 hours a day, every day, right?
Yeah.
And the parents had kept telling him, don't do this. But he had not listened, obviously. And they had in the end taken away the laptop or the whatever he was playing the game on. This guy had gone and stabbed the father while he was sleeping. Yeah, stabbed the father and like really wounded the mother. She had like stabbed her around and she was also bleeding when they found her. And he was fully like okay about it. Like there was no remorse, there was nothing. And I was like, that's crazy, man. And that's what I feel long exposure to violent video games and violent content on your phone eventually can lead you there.
I don't think that's the primary cause. I feel like it can add, but however, for me, that kid anyway had like mental health issues that needed addressing. That was probably neglected by the parents anyway. However, I do feel like just constantly gaming just makes you lose touch with reality and how the world works around you. Because you think that, oh, this is how the video game world works. So you think if I go out in the real world that I'm gonna get like gratification like how I got in the game, in which in real life doesn't work like that. Like in the game, someone disrespects you, you can beat them up. In real life, you do that, you're gonna go to jail or you're gonna have trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like you lose touch of real world concepts because of gaming. Which I feel like again depends, can get aggravated because of social media, but also depends. Like I've played GTA, I've beaten up all the hookers on the street. I don't go and like beat up people. I don't.
True. I've done the same thing.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah, I typed Panzer, went and like killed every single cop in GTA. I don't go to the cops and like every time I get caught, I'm like, sama venna.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mata penunne
Yeah, I mean, personally, I also haven't experienced anything of that sort. I mean, not that I have aggressively played games for 4-5 hours at a stretch.
Yeah.
One thing I've personally experienced is when I spend 4-5 hours on the phone, maybe watching a movie or browsing through YouTube, is that I feel very drained. Like my whole energy is gone. Like I feel sad. I feel really, really sad. I don't know how to explain it. I feel very unproductive. I feel sad. I don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And that is again because I spend a lot of time watching things that don't contribute to my growth.
Yeah, that's another thing because a lot of people can spend time gaming, using it as an excuse to procrastinate / not deal, like just give an excuse for not dealing with your problems right now. I'm going to forget about it, I'm going to do it, but then your problem doesn't go away. You could argue that's a good thing, like relaxing yourself, but then what happens when you get addicted? Like the question says, when you see them spending so much time on the phone.
Correct.
And then like real world responsibilities just get left. Like even as kids, you still have some level of like get your homework done, like shit like that.
Yeah, and what I would say for children, getting a phone at a young age can be detrimental.
Debatable.
I know you believe that there's a lot of positives.
I feel like for me, my point of view is getting a phone when you're young is cool. Like for me, the acceptable age is like 11, 12. 12,
Too young, man.
12. I feel like 12 because you're going into your teens. Okay? And I
would
feel
say
like
like
parents.
16 at best.
Again, we can disagree on that. My thing is, the world has evolved. Parenting needs to take a new role. Parenting isn't the same as before, where you just parent the kids in real life. You kind of have to also parent them through what they're doing online, because that's the world we're in now. So if you get a 13-year-old a phone, like again, it's up to the parents to get them. Like some parents may be like, I don't want to deal with that. I'm not going to get this kid a phone at 13. Completely fine. But if you're going to get it, it's not a bad thing. However, you need to make sure that you are parenting the kid and monitoring what the hell is what he's consuming online and what he's doing online. Because that at the end of the day can affect a kid's mental health and the way he behaves and all of that. So I feel like it's a question of parenting versus it being like a question of phones are bad. Well, that's just my opinion.
Again, like I disagree with that because a child that's 11, 12 has no clue how to use their phone. And it's not even 11, 12, man. I've seen parents at the gym, they come to the gym, they give their phone, they give their tab or their phone or whatever, and the kid's just there for a good 1.5 hours watching some garbage video. And so let's say from an age they understand, 11, 12, if they get a phone, what are they going to watch? What are they going to do? They're just going to be watching a ton of garbage because they don't have the knowledge, the maturity to select something that's good for them. Bro, we are at the age we are, and we are still watching garbage, right? For most of the time that we spend on our phones, outside of the work we do, if we have free time, we are not going to be watching something educational. You get what I mean? Like, the only time I would even listen to something educational if I'm driving, because I like to listen to history and all of these things. And if I'm not dedicated and I'm working, and if I'm doing something for entertainment, then what I watch is garbage. Yeah. And so how can we expect 11, 12, 13-year-old child to know the difference?
True.
And I would say giving them a phone at 11, 12, 13 is detrimental. Those are the kids that end up with the mental health issues. Those are the kids that... See, you have exceptions that would really use it for their benefit, and by the time they're 16... Iman Gachi is a good example of that. He was documenting his story from the time he was 13, 14 years old. And now he's a multi-millionaire.
At 21,
At
right?
20, however old he is. 21, 22, I guess.
Something like that.
And
Much younger than us.
much younger than us. And that guy, he's loaded.
He's loaded.
So you have the one-off exception, but that doesn't disapprove the majority. You know, majority, 95 or 98%, I would say, of kids that get a phone when they're 11 or 12 ends up with anxiety, depression, OCD. They put all of these names, you know.
True.
We don't even know what half of these things are. But I was watching this Andrew Tate video yesterday, and they were critiquing these two girls, one guy and a girl on a podcast. And the guy was saying, like, I have OCD and I'm taking this medicine. And the girl is like, oh, I have OCD and I'm taking this medicine. And they do a high five. Like, why are you glamorizing the fact that you have OCD in the first place? Like, that's dumb. It's like saying I'm sick and I have a... It's weird, man. It's weird. And people seem very happy about the
cancer.
fact... Yeah, high five. I have cancer too. Oh, man. This episode's going to get cancelled. But it's sad, you know. That's what the world is coming to. You're happy about the fact that you have depression, right? And it's crazy. And so I feel like that's...
I would say that there's another way to look at it. I would say it's like finding commonality more than like being happy about it was. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But it's also in how you phrase it, no? It's
Yeah.
not like
I mean, yeah.
you wouldn't say you have OCD or you're anxious in the same way you'd say you got a new car.
Yeah, but then awkward kids are awkward. You know? They're just gonna say things awkwardly.
I don't know. But anyway, getting back to our point about gaming, a negative impact of spending time on your phones would be that if you are spending time playing games, it could develop into aggression.
Mm-hmm.
It could develop again into other mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
And
Losing touch with reality.
losing touch with reality. And overall, it could be detrimental to your mental and maybe even physical health later on.
Yeah, physical health also. Like, there's a lot of kids complain about eye problems, and all of that stuff.
That could be a separate point altogether, I suppose.
Yeah.
The fact that you could lose sight,
Yeah.
the fact that you can't pay attention.
Yeah. The fact that you're so like on your phone that you forget to shower. And
Yeah.
your skin gets like all pimply and like go my sister doesn't shower, dude, when she gets back from school.
You.
She spends time on like the bloody freaking phone
Yeah.
for an hour, and then we have to scold her to be like, go take a shower, and then she'll take a shower.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I feel like losing your eyesight is one of the biggest problems, that you spend 4-5 hours on the phone, immediately your eyes go dry. And I see so many people, they're putting eye drops and all, while, they're just 16, 17 years old.
Hearing is another thing, because they just blast like
Yeah.
loud sounds.
It's crazy. There are so many negative impacts that we can talk about. But what we did talk about was that prolonged exposure to social media and films could help you develop mental health issues like depression and anxiety. Spending a lot of time playing games could develop again mental health issues that like aggression,
losing touch with reality.
losing touch with reality, and also develop
sense
aggression.
of pragmatism is lost.
Exactly. And then you also have the alternative options like losing your sight, not being able to focus. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a huge thing. Not being able to focus. Our attention span is just reducing by the
Bro,
generation.
a book
just
like
can't
this,
focus,
right?
man.
This is about what, like 400, 500 pages. I could sit and read this book in a day, when I was going to school, right? Now, I don't know, man. I can't sit and read it. It's terrible.
Yeah. It's
I
just,
can read like 4 pages a day,
yeah.
and then I just have to stop.
Your brain just constantly craves for new.
And it really shows in how our generation looks at working as well.
Yeah,
Bro.
the patience is just not there.
Exactly. So if you look at our parents' generation, each of them have been in a company for about 10 to 15 years. Our generation, we can barely last 2 years,
Yeah.
if that.
Yeah.
Again, I would be a prime example of that. Like, I couldn't last 6 months at a company working 9 to 5 because I couldn't sit there and concentrate from 9 to 5.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that's why you left. I think you left because it wasn't your thing.
It wasn't my thing. Plus,
Like, here's the positive side. Like, you sit down and like do what you love to do.
true enough, I can work for hours at a stretch without losing my focus, but also I can't just focus on one thing, even if it is the thing that I love the most. Like, it's, for example, it would be this, but this is not the only thing I'm doing.
True.
And if I was only doing this,
You get bored.
I get bored.
Yeah, true. For kids especially, like you see them when you're like having that one-to-one talk with them, or when your dad is having the one-to-one talk with your sibling sister.
Yeah.
Our track pino again. Are like they just drift off
Yeah.
and they don't know
Yeah.
because they just lose. They think about something else, like how do I get more kills in Fortnite while your dad's just scolding you.
Yeah. All right. So I think we covered quite a bit of points. If anyone wants to write about, I think the effects of social media in general, they have some good points to take away from what we just spoke about.
Yeah.
We got a bit sidetracked at certain points.
A lot. That's just us.
But overall, it was an interesting conversation.
Had a small technical difficulty.
Had small technical difficulty, but that's okay. So we'll wrap up for this episode.
Yeah.
And I hope you learned something interesting from this. If you did, Make sure to share this with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below. So till our next video.
Keep practicing.
All right.
I know it now.